Hey guys, welcome to Living Light RV. We are so excited to be bringing you season 7, and today we're going to be talking about
winter.
Extreme winter camping.
That's right.
Let's go for it. Awesome.
In the winter, you're going to get some extreme winter Arctic weather, and you need to know how to deal with that. But you can deal with that.
What do you mean by extreme?
Well, these storms can come in and everything changes. The temperature goes sub-zero. The storms come in, the snow piles up, and people still live full-time in their RVs.
Yeah, when we say sub-zero, we mean like minus 15 to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Some other places in Canada are going to be even colder than that. Some places a bit warmer, but we're kind of aiming for that minus 15, minus 20 Celsius range when we're talking about today.
And what we've chosen is a place that gets that but warms back up again, okay?
That makes a difference. We're going to do water.
Yes.
Heat. Power.
Yep.
Comfort,
staying comfortable,
and preparedness. Those are the 5 things we're going to talk about today. So let's hit the water first.
When it comes to water and the temperature is going to drop because you've looked at the weather report, disconnect your hose from the spigot unless you have heat tape on the whole thing, and just use your internal water for a while, okay? And just fill it up as needed, because that way you won't blow up your water filter like I did. And you won't have a hose that goes solid overnight, which means nothing works. You'll also need to make sure you have proper amounts of heat.
Yeah.
Whether that's a wood stove, which we've seen many rigs put in a stove with a pipe coming right outside and bursting out all of that exhaust out of that would be
wood
amazing.
Stove. I would love a wood stove in Bessie, but we have no room for it.
There's a lot of people that install one.
They're tiny too.
Yes.
That's awesome. How do we do heat?
We do heat with a buddy heater with propane. We do that with the furnace, running onboard heat that way. We also do that with electricity, using up a fan heater and also a radiator heater. And when we're plugged into only 15 amps, we keep those both on really low settings. And right now the temperature is actually pretty mild, so it actually works pretty good.
When it gets really cold, you got to just make sure you have that extra heat source in there.
And have multiple types of heat source. Don't run out of one and have no other options.
Yeah, quite often the power will go out too when it gets really cold or stormy, so you have to be prepared for that. So the other thing, I don't know if we mentioned this with power.
Yeah.
Did we do power? Water, heat, power. We haven't talked about power yet.
Not yet.
Okay, so we did water. We did heat.
Yes.
Now talking about power, one thing that we do when we're plugged in, and it is a good idea to be plugged in when it's cold like that if you possibly can, is we put a little UFO heater on top of our fresh water tank, which is under our bed, just to keep that just a little bit warmer so it doesn't freeze.
Because the pump is there.
That's right.
When we were at Bryce Canyon, we were parked at higher altitudes, and it got cold at night, and we didn't have anything running because it was like, we just stayed warm. But it got cold right on the outside of our rig, and our pump was right beside there, so our pump wouldn't work in the morning.
Yeah, but we just moved Bessie to the sunshine, and she was fine in a couple hours.
Yeah, because it was a day that was going to warm up, so it was fine.
But in Canada in the winter, that is, or even some places in the States, that's not always possible to have it warm up. So just make sure it doesn't freeze. So power is really essential. So if you can't plug in, 30 to 50 amp, depending on your rig, is better. 15 we've gotten away with. It's not ideal.
No, and if you could run let's say you plug your rig in and it's 30 amp and you can run everything, but if you have the option of plugging in another extension cord and having your heater with a fan on it running on a separate circuit, you can run that at high all the time, and there's no chance of, like, we've had our breakers go every once in a while just because we're drawing a little bit of heat. So we can avoid that by doing that trick.
Anything else?
Well, when the power goes off, we have to run the gen.
Generator, that's what I was going to say. Solar power and generator, you definitely want to have those backup power sources if at all possible.
And with our batteries, keeping them up to date, I can run my furnace anytime I need to also.
Yeah. Hey, did you going back to water, did you talk about antifreeze?
No.
Okay, backtracking back to water.
Okay, some people they make everything dry for the cold times, which means all their tanks are empty, including their fresh water. So they're using bottled water only, and they're not cooking or flushing the toilet or anything like that. All the tanks are dry. Why? Because you can wear your outside clothes inside. You don't have to have as much heat, and you don't have anything that's going to freeze. So they've winterized everything.
Yeah.
Okay? And what they do when they winterize is they use RV antifreeze like this, and they pour it down their drains. They actually draw it through the lines until pink is coming out, and everything's good.
Yeah. We actually did put RV antifreeze in Bessie. She wasn't totally dried out in the lines, but we weren't living in her, so we just left it in there. It was for about a week at Christmas time, and we opened all the taps just so that there was air in there and no pressure.
I put RV antifreeze in the traps, and so that it was also in the tanks at the bottom, so that the valves would have some RV antifreeze up against the valves down for the gray tank and the black tank. I have a Proteus temperature sensor, so I could always tell if the inside of my rig got too close to that freezing mark, and it did not.
It didn't, thankfully, but we did things to make sure that it wouldn't happen.
So comfort is the next thing that you got to work on.
Oh yeah, it's not fun to be in your home. I mean, we live full time in our rig. It's not just a weekend camping thing. So we do need to make sure that we are comfortable. So
we like comfortable.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So, we don't want to wear our outside clothes inside and all of the, scratchy pants and all that stuff and gloves and everything. No, we want to
no to scratchy pants.
We want to have it comfortable inside. So what we do is we first of all partition with this with a curtain.
I had this blanket sitting underneath our bed, and it was really cold one night, and I'm like, it's so cold, we need to make a smaller space so we can keep it warmer. So I pulled out the blanket. I just did a quick basting stitch along the top. I stole the shower rod out of the shower area because we weren't going to use it while we're sleeping. And check this out. How great is that? And actually, there's a little hole over here, so we do this. Put the cushion here. And we put the curtain here. We figure it out. There you go. So it's not airtight, but it's enough to keep the bedroom area nice and warm. And who cares about this area? I can get as cold as it wants while we're sleeping. So awesome. Yeah, so that just makes a smaller space to keep warm. Another thing we do is put blankets on all of our windows.
Yeah.
Because it's surprising how much that helps actually to keep the heat in and keep the cold out.
Yeah.
Another thing we do is, and you can do this, we don't do this a lot, but we have a Reflectix, the kind of thing that you put on your windshield, right? When you live in Texas and you want to keep the sun out. But in Canada and in the cold winter, it works great to keep the cold out.
Keep the heat in.
Keep the heat in.
Yeah.
So we have one of those just on the wall underneath our computer desk. And this season, I actually just kind of discovered this by accident. You know those emergency foil blankets?
Yeah.
I was using one to
the ones that pack up like this?
Yeah. I was using one to stay warm at the campfire one night on New Year's Eve. We had a fun party with my family outside campfire, and it was cold. It was like minus 10, minus 12. So we had these emergency foil blankets, and when I came back in the house, instead of just trying to fold it up and put it away, I actually put it underneath our dog's bed where she lays on the ground, and I think it really helped. She looked a lot more comfortable after that.
It was on the floor, not the ground.
Did I say that?
Not the ground.
I said the ground.
Not the ground.
On the floor, under her
bed. We live in an RV, not close to an RV in a tent on the ground.
Not in a tent.
No.
Anyway, so I put it under her bed, and that made her a lot warmer. So you can use those as well. Anything else for comfort?
Oh, yes. One more thing for comfort. It actually is a tip for the whole thing. In Canada, a lot of people, depending on where you are, will skirt. And you'll skirt the entire trailer. Some people even skirt so much that they have a big tent on the outside of their rig, and that is a extra room that they walk into to put on their winter gear or take off their winter gear before they open the door to go outside. So they have a separated room, and the heat doesn't get pulled out of your rig so fast.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that in this campground.
Those things will help you mitigate the heat loss extremely well.
Yeah. For sure. And like Ken said, you don't have to wear your winter clothes inside, but putting on an extra layer of leggings or long johns or a long sleeve shirt, or even wearing your toque if it gets chilly in the evening, those are all ways that you can stay comfy. And of course, lots of coffee, lots of hot chocolate, lots of comfort food. Give yourself a little fat layer for the winter. It keeps you nice and warm. Stay healthy, just kidding. Anyway, so I think that's about it for the comfort. If you guys have
and eat hot soup and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys have ideas for staying comfortable while you're extreme winter camping, we would love to hear your ideas. Leave them in the comments below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. And if you want more Living Light RV, head over to patreon.com/livinglightrv. But we're not done yet. Because we said we would give you 5 tips. So water, heat, power, comfort, and preparedness.
Yes. Preparedness means having the groceries on hand, first of all, so that if you get stuck and the streets and roads are something that you shouldn't drive on, that you can just say, okay, I'm not going to drive. I'm fine.
Yeah. And dog food, that was another thing that we fell short of when we were stuck out in Chilliwack
because of the floods.
Because of the floods. The roads were closed. So yeah, dog food, any of your like coffee, produce.
Oh, your fuels. So your gasoline, your propanes.
Propane would be a huge one, because if that's your main source of heat, remember how important it is to have that heat and to keep your water from freezing. So propane is a huge one. Make sure you're stocked up on that. And I mean, when we've been living here for the winter, we have several propane bottles. What do we have, like 2 30-pounders?
We have 3. I still have 1 in storage. And then we also have a 20-pounder. And of course, you can hook those up to the exterior of your rig and bypass and not use your onboard propane, so you're not going to run out.
So you don't have to drive somewhere to get propane on your rig. You have those big tanks that you have, and people rent those too, like the big 100-pounders
and bigger.
And other things for preparedness: make sure you have a bug out bag just in case things get really bad. They go totally sideways. You may need to get heli-vac'd out. You might need to quickly get in your car and drive out. You never know what's going to happen. We did a video on that a while ago, so we'll put the link to that up here and also in the description below. So if you want more info on preparedness, you can check out that video. But just make sure you have the things you're going to need in case you're stuck for a while and it's cold.
And if you all of a sudden find that your furnace fails or whatever, have an exit strategy.
Yes, exactly.
Go someplace safe.
And an RV tech that you can call.
Yes.
To get some help. So make sure you have those numbers on hand.
Hey, I hope that helps.
I think that's it. You guys have fun with your extreme winter camping.
Winter's fine.
It's beautiful. Whether you're going just for a weekend to just go hang out with some friends, celebrating a special event like New Year's Eve or a birthday or anniversary, or whether you're living full time in your rig, go ahead and don't be afraid of winter.
You can
just
enjoy
be ready
winter.
For it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. You guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being part of our community. Have a fantastic week. And
please
we will
subscribe.
See you. Definitely. We'll see you guys next Friday. Take care.
We have a giveaway coming up in our next live stream or the one after that, so you're going to have to pay attention. We have a Proteus sensor that you can get from a, what is it called when we do a giveaway? It's a giveaway.
It's a giveaway.
Of a Proteus sensor. And so stay tuned to our next live, and we'll tell you if that's the time we're doing the Proteus sensor or the time after. You're going to have to just pay attention.
We actually have a couple giveaways ready to go, so make sure you tune into our live streams on Friday evenings. And not every Friday, but sometimes.
And if you can't wait, then click on the links below and get your own Proteus sensor today.
That's right.
There you go.
Sounds good. Have a great day. Here goes an airplane.
That's a helicopter.
Okay, that works.